Well, here's the end of that tune, apparently. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MandoLessons Live. It's great to have you all here. Sorry I didn't put up the live stream last night. Fell asleep before I put it up and had to do it last thing this morning. But it seems like people are making their way here. We got folks from all over, as usual. Great to see. Philadelphia, Indiana, well, Pennsylvania, if we're going to go by state, Indiana, Minnesota, Portland, Oregon, Nashville, Tennessee, Pennsylvania again, the Enchanted Mitten of Michigan, I like that, I also have never heard that, Montana, Georgia, Canada, Alberta, Canada, if we're going by province, Dan, from Riverside, California, I believe. Can't totally remember right now. That's the joy of the live stream as my brain goes kaput. New Jersey, England. Alan from London also knows this tune. Excellent. I had to kind of relearn it right before this because it's been a long time since I've played. Maggie isn't that drowsy after all. Yeah, apparently. I kind of kicked that one off a little too fast. California, Texas. Minnesota, London, California. All right, well, welcome everyone. Great to see so many familiar faces. If this is your first time joining this live stream, let me know. It's always nice to see who hasn't been here before. I definitely recognize a lot of names, but great to see the new ones as well. My name is Baron Collins Hill. I run MandoLessons.com, and whenever possible on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, I do these, Mando Lessons Live, and they're pretty much timed just to answer questions that you all might have. I love hearing what everybody's working on. I love to take some fiddle tune requests if I can remember what they are and they're not copyrighted. So throw them out there if you got them. And yeah, so by all means, no question is too advanced. No question is too simple. It's all fair game. I started off there with the tune of the week, which is Drowsy Maggie. A tune that I have not played very much, especially recently. It's a classic Irish session tune, but I haven't been to an Irish session in over a year, probably along with many of us. So, got to get that one back in our fingers. We will play that tune together at the end of the hour as a little play-along jam. Let's see, I think I covered everything. Thank you all for showing up. We got Wisconsin, Minnesota, Florida, Holland. Very cool. California, London, Florida. Awesome. First time here from JM Fingerstyle. Thank you for joining us. And Bonnie is also a first timer. Glad to see you both here. Alright. Alright, that's unrelated. Sometimes my phone goes off and it means something's going wrong, but that was unrelated, thank goodness. Joanne's also first time here. Welcome. So yeah, keep the questions flying, and I will keep drinking coffee. It's gone now, unfortunately. But there's always more after the live stream. Hope you're having a good day wherever you're tuning in from, and I'll play something else here until the questions start coming. Do you ever play Octave mandolin? I do. I'll play a tune here and then jump into some of these questions, because that's kind of a long one and can't remember what this one is. Swinging on a gauge. Okay, apparently I've had just enough sleep and just enough coffee to want to make everything real weird. That was a little bit of swinging on the gate, swinging on a gate, swinging on a gate, I think, a gate. Do you ever play octave mandolin? Good question. I don't actually currently own an octave mandolin. I've owned an octave mandolin in the past. Maybe I'll own one again someday in the future. I play a lot of bouzouki and tenor guitar, which are the same register as an octave mandolin, but I just tune them G, D, A, D instead of E. Or there's something like this. This is a tenor guitar, so only 4 strings, but it is tuned G, D, A, E. Not very in tune. So yeah, I do love all things mandolin, pretty much all things stringed instruments, to be honest. Oh yeah, Andrew for the super chat, thank you so much. Really appreciate the support however it comes in, whether it's super chats or PayPal, or there's a ton of patrons in the stream here. It's great to see you all. Doesn't matter to me how the stuff comes in, but it's greatly appreciated. Links in the description for any of the stuff you're interested in doing. It says, I've been working on Sergeant Early's Dream. I'm going to put this back because I'm definitely not going to be able to play that. On a big one. Alright. Sergeant Early's Dream, that B part is pretty squirrely. Yeah, that whole tune is pretty squirrely. That tune. That's a tune that I learned from a patron. They requested that I do that tune as a lesson. I was like, I've never heard of that. And I looked it up and was like, oh, that is an amazing tune. So yeah, that tune is got a couple things going for it. It's very string crossy. It's very arpeggiated. It'll really give your right hand a workout if you don't have real solid pick direction. It's a great tune, a kind of advanced tune to work on if you want to work on some pick direction challenges. It's pretty much straight eighths. Excuse me. But yeah, it's got a lot of string crosses, a lot of arpeggios. It's in D minor, which is a little uncommon. So it's Yeah, it's one of my favorites, though, for sure. Bonaparte's Retreat. I can't remember how that goes right now. I get Bonaparte's Retreat and Washington's March mixed up. Bonaparte's. Maybe that's it. That could still be Washington's March. Well, Fiddle Hell, which I'm really haven't taken off this sweatshirt since I got it. Fiddle Hell online, indeed, not in person. Coming up next weekend, so no live stream next weekend because I will be at Fiddle Hell, and I hope you all will be too. It's going to be a good time. I'm teaching 4 workshops on fiddle tunes and such. There's going to be a bunch of other great mandolin teachers there, and a bunch of other instruments as well. So maybe you play something else. Check out fiddlehell.org for all of the information. It's always a fun time. I taught there in person once, and then for the first time in 2019, and then last year it was online, and I taught there again, and now this year it's online in the spring anyway. So it's going to be another good time, and I hope to see you all there. fiddlehell.org. My F-style is very neck heavy when using a strap. Do you think that the tone attachment thing would help make it more balanced? That's just something that, it's first off, that's very common. The F-styles have more stuff going up on the headstock with the scrolls and whatnot. So I think the question is, does a tone guard, which I've got on the back here, is that going to help keep it from kind of slipping down like that? It does a little bit. I don't have an F style that I attach to the strap here. One thing you can try is attaching it under the strings. I prefer it attached down here, but I have instruments where on these old instruments the strap is attached up at the top because you can't get under the fingerboard because it's flush to the body. So you could try that. Or you could try a tone guard. That's what this thing is called, a tone guard, G-A-R-D. Yeah, I would say those are probably 2 ways to think about stopping the neck from, it'll naturally dip a little bit. You could also mess with the like width of the strap. If you have a strap that's either like a different material that's a little grippier or a little wider so it creates more friction, that could also help. What kind of mandolin is that with 5 sets of strings? Great question. I was playing that a little earlier. This is a 10-string mandolin, or 10-string mandola, I kind of think of it. So it's tuned like a mandolin, G, D, A, E, but then it's got a low C string. So it's like a mandola, C, G, D, A, and a mandolin, G, D, A, E, all at once. I should make a video on this because I get this question a lot, and I often play this in the live streams. It's got a 16-inch scale, so it's kind of mandola scale length. It was built by Lawrence Smart in Idaho, and I like it. It's great to have that low string option. But also still have the upper register as well. Oh, awesome. Betsy got 2 Andy Statman CDs. Because we were talking about the other day. Yeah, I love Andy Statman. How nice it must be to have so many tunes under your fingers that you can't recall what the names are, but you can pick the hell. That's very kind, William. It is fun. I mean, mostly it comes from a lot of repetition and a lot of not knowing a lot of tunes, but trying to play them anyway at Irish sessions and old time jams and fiddle camps for 20 years. That's kind of mostly what I do. A lot of people focus on bluegrass or jazz or you know, all the different kinds of music that you can play on the mandolin. And my main thing is fiddle tunes. That's what I do every day. So they start to accumulate. Does the 10-string have a radiused fretboard? I imagine that it does. I think so. If it is, it's actually a lot slighter than I would have imagined. It's much flatter than I would expect, but that's a great question. I've never really thought about it. I know some people have greater preferences for whether a instrument has a flat or radiused fingerboard. So that means, like, if you're looking down the neck of the instrument like this, the fingerboard actually has a little bit of arch to it. And some of them, like the old ones, are just flat. This is pretty flat. It may be flat. I don't honestly know. If it's radiused, it's very, very lightly radiused. Yeah, so I was playing a little bit of that, which is a little bit of kind of music for a found harmonium. That's a great tune that I haven't played. That one would show up at fiddle camp a lot. I forget who wrote that. Anyway, look up music for a found harmonium if you want a cool tune that's got a bunch of parts and changes keys a lot. D from Snoqualmie, good to have you here. Noticed recently from Mary, my third finger is getting lazy and often hits the wrong spot with it, which makes my pinky challenging to keep in line. Any exercise tips to get the third finger back in shape? My favorite finger exercises are the FFCP, stands for 4-finger closed position, exercises from jazzmando.com. You can also find, if you look up, they're also on my website if you look up FFCP, or maybe how to play in every key, every major and minor scale. You look around on my website, especially in the technique and fundamentals, the left hand heading under technique and fundamentals will get you to some great left hand exercises that really put your third and fourth fingers to use. Why are octave mandolins so expensive? Well, because there's a lot that goes into a regular mandolin, and this isn't a regular mandolin. But you know, you got the carved top and back, kind of built kind of violin style. There's a lot going on. And then with the octave mandolin, it's all of that, but it's just bigger and more wood, more time to put together. They're also not very common, so it's not like there's companies like pumping out millions and millions of them every day. My favorite kind of octave mandolin for the money is the Eastman Mdo 305. They're often out of stock, but you can find them. They're like $700 or $800 new, and you can usually find them sometimes you can find them used. Right now they're kind of hard to find, but if you're real lucky, you can get them for $500, $600, somewhere in there used, and still in great playing condition. But yeah, a lot of, once you get past that, anything that's like actually solid wood, carved top and back, octave mandolin, those get expensive real fast. But I think the Eastman is a lot of octave mandolin for the money. Excuse me, got a little stuffy nose here. All right, Sherry from Vancouver Island, great to have you here. Yeah, I've got James says, excellent merch modeling. I know, if only I had my MandoLessons mug, link in the description, I'll shout out the Pottery Farm in, where are they? Knox, in Knox, Maine, Pottery Farm. Got this mug and a great bean pot from the Pottery Farm in Knox, Maine, back in my old stomping ground. They would do a farmer's market near me, but also the Common Ground Fair, which is a big agricultural fair every September. I love this mug. But I also have MandoLessons mugs. But yeah, I put on the old Mandolins and Beer, a great podcast that I was on recently, or over a year ago now, maybe about a year ago. Time flies. Mostly because I had a crazy bedhead, but I also got the Fiddle Hell shirt, so yeah, I'm well mandolin represented today. But yeah, the hat is mostly trying to keep the bedhead and the cowlick in line. Dave 11F says, was thinking about buying an inexpensive octave mandolin from Hora, Romania on eBay. They seem passable for a starter around $200. I would say if you're willing to take a chance, go for it. I've played some of those. My friend got one many years ago, and maybe the quality is totally different, because this was like probably 15 years ago. My friend got one, and it was not particularly playable. We didn't know as much about mandolins back then as I do now. So maybe there's things I could have done to get it more playable, but it was not the most playable instrument. But, you know, do some research. See if you can find stuff, especially on Mandolin Cafe. Ask around to see if there's people that have experience with those. And, yeah, you may well get something that you like. It's been so long since I've seen one of those that maybe a lot of things have changed. Empty Mike says, do you have any recommendations for a good quality starter Irish bouzouki? I like that sound. I love that sound, yeah. I'm just going to regurgitate, so a little bouzouki side track. If you want to learn Irish bouzouki, my great friend and bandmate Owen Marshall, you can look him up on Facebook. He's got a Facebook artist page, is doing a bouzouki boot camp in a couple of weeks here. And if there's anyone to learn bouzouki from, it's Owen, because he's the best. And somebody asked that on his little announcement, and he was recommending Trinity College as the Irish bouzouki to start with. I don't have a whole lot of experience with like different models of bouzouki's. I've only kind of owned what I've owned and played what I've played. But yeah, I would say Trinity College, just kind of regurgitating Owen's information, because he knows what's up. William says, banjo too, you pick a little 5-string? I do, I play claw hammer. I don't do 3-finger bluegrass stuff, but I play some claw hammer. Maybe I'll grab one of those in a little bit, but I gotta catch up with the chat. Looked in your website but couldn't find, what do you call the rubber grommets? So yeah, these are these little grommets here. What do you call those? You can call them harmonic suppressors. You can find them, somebody said you can find them on Elderly. Or you look up grommets on Elderly or harmonic suppressors. And what that does, just stops those strings from going ping, ping, ping when you hit them. Or they just often will like ring sympathetically when you're playing between the bridge and nut. Alright. Alright, everybody's on it on the chat. Glad to see it. Trinity College, excellent. Glad I'm not the only one saying that. Edward for the super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for the recommending that I put an ad on Mandolin Cafe for an Eastman Mdo mandolin. The mandolin arrived yesterday. It's like new and was $150 less than a new one. Yeah, I love the Mandolin Cafe. I love buying used stuff. I love looking for a good deal. And I'm glad that, yeah, so if anyone's looking for an octave mandolin, try it again. Throw an ad on Mandolin Cafe. Say I'm looking for an Eastman octave mandolin. You might luck out. Glad that you got one, Edward, and enjoy, because those things are super fun. While you often, from JM Fingerstyle, while you often teach how to add chords into a melody, have you ever considered doing a lesson that starts with the chords and teaches how to get the melody under your fingers? Ooh, I like that idea. I would have to think about that. Yeah, that's a good idea to kind of go from the other direction. I love approaching things from opposite sides. I will think about that and try to come up with something. Betsy says, finally worked up the courage to change my strings. That is definitely takes some courage Broke the second G. Thank goodness for same-day delivery of more strings. It sounds lovely now. Yeah, I just changed some strings as well, and it always sounds good. I love strings, especially like a week after putting on some new ones. Dulls them down a little bit, but not as dead as really old ones. But yeah, that's it. Definitely, when you first start playing mandolin, or first start getting to changing your strings, it's not very pleasant. I still hate doing it, but I got a lot of strings to change, so I get a lot of practice. All right, hello from Barcelona. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Ah, a little bit of a blues tune. Sure, I don't really play a whole lot of blues, but I can make something up. Here's a little kind of bluesy sort of thing anyway. A little blues progression, not really like super from the blues tradition, but kind of co-opting the little blues progression there. Have you ever played a Trinity College Octave mandolin? Similar price to the Eastman, but flat top. I have, but it's been a long time. I'd say it's probably in the same realm. If you like that flat top sound, probably a good way to go. I haven't played... Trinity College changed. I used to not be wild about their stuff, but that was like 20 years ago, and I think the newer stuff has been much improved. Hello from Rhode Island. Good to have you here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't want to like turn anybody off from... So Dave's talking about the Hora on eBay. Probably pass and save up for something nicer. That's probably a good idea. Or, you know, see if somebody's got something on Mandolin Cafe. Put a wanted ad up there and say like, hey, has anyone got a Hora that they like really dialed in and sounds great now? Because sometimes you'll get something from eBay that you just need to put a lot of work into, and it's kind of frustrating. But you could put an ad on Mandolin Cafe, like looking for an octave mandolin in such and such a price range. Or you could ask on the forum or put up a wanted ad. See what comes out. Question re Angeline the Baker. I played the tune last night on mandolin and the fiddle player said I was not playing it correctly. Where do you get the tune that is on... Where did you get the tune that is on your MandoLessons website? I'm curious what they thought was different. I mean, everybody plays fiddle tunes a little bit different. I think I just got my version... I don't know. I didn't get it from an exact source by any means. It was just kind of a tune that I picked up from playing it a million times. I'd be curious. I mean, everybody does play tunes a little different, especially some of the chordal stuff. But I'd be curious what your fiddle player thought was different about it. Just started to learn clawhammer banjo and struggling with strike accuracy and drop thumb with inner strings quite a bit. From James. Okay, somebody else was asking about. I can give a little. I'm not a clawhammer teacher by any stretch of the imagination, but I have worked on that a little. That'll do. So yeah, here's a little clawhammer. Little Billy Wilson. A little bit of Little Billy Wilson. There's a tongue twister. Probably, I don't know if I'm in G or A though. Anyway, it's supposed to be an A. So yeah, we're kind of and this goes for mandolin too, so see if you can pull some kind of mandolin information out of this. Great exercise is if you're in a nice open tuning, or hold down maybe a G. Again, I'll figure out what this is. Alright, so I'm in A. So if you're playing mandolin right now, you can hold down an A chord. And just, so for clawhammer, you can just, a good exercise is, I'm not doing a very good job. So you can do that with kind of cross-picking, co-opted into cross-picking idea on the mandolin, but you'll get a nice solid sound out of your first and fifth string. And then see if you can get second and fifth. Third and fifth. Fourth and fifth. And the fourth and fifth is the one that I always had trouble with the most. Getting a nice, decent sound out of that. Feeling a little sloppy here. And just like, totally, just like on mandolin, if you're working on something in the right hand, don't worry about the left hand. Just work on left hand. Just try to get every one of those strings without worrying about what's going on in your left hand. Get a nice solid sound. Take it super slow. Really think about tone. My favorite clawhammer YouTube channel is Tom Collins. Amazing banjo teacher. Really dives deep into a lot of those exercises about like pulling the best tone and getting great technique out of both hands. So definitely check out Tom Collins. He's got Banjo Quest, Banjo Blitz, Banjo something else. He's got a bunch of different stuff. He's got a great Patreon page. Check him out if you're into banjo. William says, how does Irish bouzouki differ from the Greek one? A couple ways. Traditionally, a Greek bouzouki has a bowled back, like a bowl back mandolin. So it looks like a giant version of this. Really long neck. So that's the kind of the visual difference. And then they tune, I don't remember how Irish bouzouki's are tuned. It's like C, F, A, C maybe? But it's not with, Greek bouzouki's are tuned C, F, A, C, I think. Something like that. I don't play any Greek bouzouki. But Irish musicians will take a Greek bouzouki with the bowl back, Owen Marshall for example, and then tune it G, D, A, D, or other Irish tunings. So you can play a Greek bouzouki in Irish tuning, if that makes sense. Edward says, I may still be suffering from MAS. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one. I'm sure we're not the only ones, I should say. All right, I gotta put some instruments down. Let's see. Great. I'm glad to see all these questions rolling in quicker than I can answer them. A decent affordable bouzouki option in the UK is Paul Hathaway. Yep, I've never played one of his instruments, but I've seen those. What is an easy way to play a diminished chord and sevenths on the mandolin? Great question. So, diminished chord. Mandolin. So I often use the same shape and the same exact combination of notes for a diminished or a 7 chord. So a diminished chord comes up when you get to this, if you're playing kind of a scale as a set of chords, you have G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished. Where's that F sharp diminished? Come on, there it is. Or Let's find a better one than that. So your general diminished shape, if you want a full like diminished 7 chord, it's so 3, 2, 4, 3, kind of a handful. But you can take one of those out and make it like 3, 2, 4. So that could be a diminished chord of B flat, E natural, or C sharp. And that could also be a F sharp dominant 7 chord. Just to give you some more options. Yeah. So you have the B flat becomes an A sharp, which is the 3rd of F sharp. E is the flat 7 of F sharp. C sharp is the 5th. So we have 3, flat 7, 5 of F sharp. Same notes. Or you can use it as B flat diminished, E diminished, or C sharp diminished. And the thing with diminished chords is they repeat every 3 frets. So if you grab that whole diminished chord, starting on the 3rd, your kind of middle finger on the 3rd fret, middle finger on the 6th fret, 10th, or 9th, 12th, 15th. It's the same set of notes, just kind of repeated in different orders as you go up. So that's my general diminished shape, is that kind of little triangle of 3, 2, 4, or 4, 3, 5, 5, 4, 6. So you can use that as like a, if you're in C, for example, 5, 5, 7. You can go up to 6, 5, 7 as a little diminished between that and your 2. So we have 1, then diminished, then minor 2, then 5, dominant 7, C, C sharp diminished, D minor, G7, C, C sharp diminished, A minor, oh boy, D minor, G7, C. Little diminished theory for you. Wandering128 says another use for harmonic suppressors where it changes is when changing strings, use them to hold the loop end of the string on the hook in the tailpiece so it doesn't come loose when you run the string through the tuner post. I have never tried that. I will have to try that next time. That sounds like a great idea. Do you have any electric mandolins? I do not have an electric mandolin. I have electric octave mandolins and tenor guitars and mandolin family instruments. I actually do own an electric mandolin, a little 4-string Mandocaster Fender reissue they did for a couple years ago. Unfortunately, they've stopped making them, but that's actually back in Maine. I didn't bring it with me, but they're definitely fun. Strap suggestions for a bowl back. Difficult to keep it from slipping while playing. One thing I've seen people do, one thing I can't really show, but they'll have like a little piece of leather or grippier material on their leg to hold it if you're sitting. And then I guess if you want to put a strap on, you would have to put it underneath the neck, kind of just above the nut. Strap it there, and then however you can. It'll vary a little from instrument to instrument on the heel end of the instrument. Maybe somebody in the chat has some ideas too, though. Look at that thumb. Yeah, I got a... in that blues. I do that sometimes just to change things up. Woo, all right. So many questions. I'm not going to be able to get through everything today. This is great. I will try to do some lightning round, and then we got to get on to playing some more music here. First time, thanks for MandoLessons. Question, can cheap mandolins sound better over time, like 10 to 15 years? Yes, the more you play an instrument, and the better it's set up, the better it will sound. Instruments definitely kind of like break in over time. A little bit of a contentious idea, but I think most people agree. Then again, if you don't like a mandolin to begin with, then I wouldn't bet on having, playing it a lot to really change. It's not going to turn into a brand new mandolin and sound totally different. But things, just as you put more time into the instrument, you learn what it likes. Get everything vibrating all the time definitely helps. Anything you can do to make it set up to sound better is great. Yeah, don't expect, a mandolin that you want to sound a particular way. Don't get a mandolin that sounds nothing like that and say, oh, well, I'll just play it a lot and then it'll change. You got to start with something you like, in order to kind of have a good starting place. Yes, the Irish adoption of a bouzouki is from Greece. A bunch of Irish musicians, Johnny Moynihan and some buddies, went to Greece on vacation, heard some bouzoukis, and were like, oh, I want to try that with Irish music. Sherry says, I've tried to learn clawhammer too, just not enough hours in the day to achieve all I want to do. Yeah, it's, I have spent most of my musical life just playing mandolin, and I'm best suited for like playing anything on mandolin and kind of teaching mandolin and knowing about mandolin. And all these other instruments I just kind of play for my own fun. I'm not wildly like a diverse musician on them. Like I can play basic clawhammer, old time. I can play basic Irish bouzouki backing, tenor guitar stuff. But mandolin, I've spent the most time on the mandolin, so I am kind of I have the most diverse abilities on mandolin, I guess, if that makes sense. But, even if you just like try clawhammer and you have fun just doing something simple, that's what it's all about. You don't need to be good at something just to try it. I got a lot of instruments here that I'm not good at, but I still have fun picking them up and trying to make sound. Uncle Bobby, good to see you, says, started playing Angeline the Baker from Don Julin. It's a bit different from MandoLessons. Had to change it up a bit. Yeah, for the Sharon Gilchrist. I think what you're saying there is everybody's going to do it a little different. Oh, cool. Bruce Molsky is a great clawhammer player, and he has some clawhammer courses on Peghead Nation. That's great. Yeah, no worries, William, on being behind on the chat. I am also way behind as the chat, as you can tell right now, about talking about things that were happening many, many minutes ago. Speaking of Common Ground, know any good tunes by that? I'll play a little. Yeah, so I wrote a tune called On Common Ground, sort of surrounding Common Ground Fair in Maine, and it sounds like this. through a little On Common Ground. Thank you for the request. Glad you like that one. Do you have a simple to complex for Road to Lisdoon Varna? I don't. Oh, do you think I might do? Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to do simple to complex for all of them. I don't think I've done it yet though, but maybe I have. Make sure I'm catching up with everything. Hope I didn't skip anybody. Can you share info on a free online mandolin 1 hour? I don't know exactly what you mean, Joan. Can I share the info, free mandolin 1 hour workshop? If you have information about a 1 hour mandolin workshop, and yeah, share it with people in the chat. I don't know if I'm understanding you correctly, but sure. Greek bouzouki also tend to have 3 courses instead of 4. Yeah, they also make 3-course bouzouki called a tricordo. Those are cool. And some Irish musicians like Alec Finn played tricordo, 6-string total, 3 courses. What is the tuning for your tenor guitar? The one I was playing earlier, that archtop back there, I can't point, back there, that one is GDAE, which is how I tune most of my octave, most of my archtop tenor guitars, but I also play a lot in GDAD, just taking that high E string down to D. Gives it a little more kind of drop D tuning or dad-gad style tuning. That's sort of a more traditional Irish bouzouki tuning as well. Greek music uses different scales too. Yes, I would say so. I'm not super familiar with the intricacies of Greek music stylings, but when I hear it, it doesn't sound like Irish music, that's for sure. Tim Twist plays a mean guitar, but his truest interest is traditional banjo. He has a store here in Milford, Michigan, and is an awesome teacher. Cool, I've never heard the name, but we'll keep an eye and ear out for him. Alright, I'm getting close to the end of the chat here. While I catch up, everybody get your mandolin out, and we're going to play some Drowsy Maggie together. It'll be fun. Happy Saturday. Window open. Good weather up there. Yeah, weather's getting nice. It's supposed to be in the 70s here in Portland, Oregon for all next week. I'm excited about it. Cool, glad people like On Common Ground. If you want to learn that tune, that waltz that I just played, it's on my website. Are you still playing with... Oh, this is interchat talk. Glad to hear it. Carry on, by all means. Oh, cool. Edward went about 40 years ago when I lived in the Northeast Kingdom. Excellent. Yeah, I used to go to the Common Ground Fair when I was in elementary school. They would put us all on a bus and we would go up there. And then I didn't go for many years, but then I started getting back in the habit in the last couple of years. Next Saturday, 1:30 before my course, there will be a mandolin workshop conducted by Joe Walsh. Is this at Fiddle Hell? I hope so. I'm a little out of touch on what exactly... Oh, okay, this is maybe the free... So yeah, next weekend, I'm not doing any live streams here. I will be at Fiddle Hell on my shirt here, fiddlehell.org. I don't know, Joan, if you're talking about Fiddle Hell or... Oh, okay. Organized by the Barcelona Bluegrass Camp. Very cool. Yeah, definitely check that out. And if I'm free, I will check that out too. All right, let's see. Thank you, Uncle Bobby, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Apologies if I'm saying your name incorrectly. I always have trouble with that one. How do you find the Angeline, the Baker, Don Julio? I think that was just a typo on Uncle Bobby's part. I think he's talking about Don Julin, Julin, and I would imagine that would get auto-corrected to Julio. So yeah, look up Don Julin, a great mandolin player. Random question, what direction should my pick be going when I change strings from lower to higher? Like, do I just go up or down depending on what I plucked before, or do I reset the direction? Yeah, so when you're changing strings is a great question. When you're changing strings, your pick, it doesn't matter if you change strings compared to what pick direction you should be using. So for example, if you're going down, up on the D string, and you want an up on your A string, or you need to go like this, down, you want to go D, A, D, A. You're going down on the D, up on the A. So you can do D, 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 A, D, A, D, A, D, A. Even if you go down, you can go D, D, G, D, G, D, G, D, G. So that's down on the D, up on the G. It can feel a little awkward if you're not used to it. But assuming you have a measure of straight eighth notes, it's always going to be, and it's a real, in 4/4 or 2/2, or however you want to think about it. It's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. If it's straight, short notes, straight eighth notes. Doesn't matter what string you're on, or if you're switching strings or anything like that. That's sort of the pick direction formula. If you want a deeper dive into pick direction, check out in the technique and fundamental section of my website, in the right hand category, I've got pick direction for reels and pick direction for jigs. Check them both out. They're great. Yeah, Mandolin for Dummies is a great book Don Julian put together. And yeah, Don Julian also has Mandolins Heal the World, another great mandolin learning opportunity. We are blessed with many. Haven't little Maggie. Okay, so I think yeah, that answers the pick direction question. For you to see the traditional banjo stuff. I'm a little lost in the chat here. No worries. I'm William on the. I'm happy to follow the chat wherever it goes. All right, let's play a little bit of. Okay, so Joan, I think you're probably trying to send a link, but YouTube doesn't let you send a link, unfortunately. But I think if people look up Brazilian Bluegrass Association, is that what it was? Go back. If you look up Joe Walsh, or find Joe Walsh and you can ask him about where it is. He's pretty easy to get a hold of. Or scroll back up, and I think it was the Brazilian Bluegrass Association. Yeah, Barcelona Bluegrass Camp. Apologies, not Brazilian. Barcelona Bluegrass Camp. I was in Barcelona a couple years ago. It was awesome. Highly recommended. If you look up Barcelona Bluegrass Camp, Joe Walsh, I bet you can find what we're looking for. Sorry that YouTube doesn't let you put a link in there. Let's play some Drowsy Maggie. Sounds like this. Okay, Drowsy Maggie. I think I'm finally all caught up with the chat. The way this works is we play the tune back and forth. I'll play the melody, you play the chords. I'll play the chords, you play the melody. I'll lead you through it as we go along. If you don't know the tune at all, just see what you can pick up. Grab a note here and there. If you do know the tune, this is a great way to get it under your hands and play it a bunch of times in a row. Kind of challenge yourself to just kind of keep the train moving. If you've been playing Drowsy Maggie forever, see if you can add some ornamentation, melodic variation, things like that. Just kind of push yourself wherever you're at with it. If it's too fast or slow, wait until this video gets kind of processed by YouTube, and you can go back and use the little gear icon in the bottom right hand corner to slow it down or speed it up. So about that fast. It's an E minor, Irish tune, single reel, I believe. Excuse me. So the A and B parts are going to fly by a little kind of more regularly than most tunes, but 1, 2, E minor and D for the chords. Here we go. B part. A. You take the melody. B part goes to D. I'll take it. Oh, sorry, B part. Take it. B part. One more time, everybody play the melody. Go now. All right, a little bit of Drowsy Maggie. That's a tune I don't tend to play a lot, but it's always fun. It's time to pick a tune for not next week, but I believe the week after. So yeah, next week and no live stream, I will be teaching at Fiddle Hell. All the information is at fiddlehell.org. I hope to see some of you there. It's always a great time. Had a blast with it last year. They got a real slick online setup that's got all sorts of great courses and concerts and workshops and all kinds of stuff. There's like 200 workshops over the course of the weekend. It's going to be a great time. And then when it's back in real life in Massachusetts, I hope to see you there as well because it's super fun. It's 4 days in a convention center, nonstop music, 24 hours a day. Even more workshops than when it's online. And it's just a crazy experience and nothing quite like it. So yeah, that's where I'll be next week. So let's pick a tune, an old-time tune, just for the... Ooh, Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase. There we go. Let's see. I'll look on my little cheat sheet here and see what... see if we've done Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase. I think we might have already, but maybe we haven't. Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase, Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase. Oh, we have not. All right. Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase it is. A great tune in the key of C. Great three-part tune. Here's the third part. So yeah, Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase, it's on the website. William asks, I don't see Drowsy Maggie at MandoLessons. So the spelling is D-R-O-W-S-Y. Or if you just look up Maggie, that should pop up as well. Cool. So that's going to be fun. Tennessee Mountain Fox Chase in a couple weeks. But next weekend, I'll see you at Fiddle Hell. Always a good time. And stay safe. Have a great weekend. And thanks for tuning in. See you all again soon. Bye-bye.